What's going on, everybody? So, last year, Can Jam 2024 SoCal, we had a lot of new product. And there were a few that stuck out, that did extremely well, that had huge responses. And one of them was a product that a lot of the water coolers had given their input on. And I think there were three um, prototypes of it. So it was the glorious introduction of this IEM and this company. The company I'm talking about is Forte Ears and Ricardo Ye. And he had worked with Elitech, I think Hi-Fi Man. So he's had a huge amount of knowledge that he brought to his company. The other cool thing is, and I'm always a talker about this, but blind buying is so hard to do because you end up having to sell it. Going to Can Jam allows you to try out different IEMs. But on top of trying out all these different IEMs, you're able to talk to the people that create these IEMs. Lots of times they're there. Like Antonio Meze was at the show last year, so that was cool. But I got to actually sit down at the Forte Ears booth with Ricardo, and we had this magical 20-minute conversation about classical music. He's a lover of opera. And that was so cool to sit there and kind of learn from him how he went about in making the Forte Ears Macbeth, which we will be reviewing today. I'll get more into our conversation soon, but yes, today's review is on the Forte Ears Macbeth. So, the much heralded Forte Ears Macbeth. Finally, we have them in-house to check out. Retail for $3,999. They have 5 balance armature, 2 bone conducting, 4 electrostatics. If you were lucky enough, or I think McBTH as of last week had 2 left, we also have the Ambition cable, which retails for $3,999 as well. All right. So, this is not going to be a full unboxing, but I did get the beautiful case set. The Macbeth comes in. This beautiful leather case. Very elegant, as I would expect from Ricardo. And just a very beautiful case that your Macbeth will come in. All right, so there are 2 cables. The standard cable, both being Elitech. This is a cable if you order the Macbeth for the $4,000. It's a nice cable. Not bad whatsoever, but there was an option. So there were 50 cables, I believe, that were made. They're called the Ambition cable. And I believe only 2 are left at McBTH. And this is Macbeth with the Ambition cable. Look at these beautiful, really good looking faceplates. But this is the Ambition cable, and it retails for $3,999, the same price as a Macbeth. So if you were to upgrade to the Ambition, the total price would be the Macbeth plus the Ambition, which would be $8,000. So we'll talk about later the differences between the 2 cables, but I just wanted to show what options you are able to get, or hopefully able to get, with the Macbeth. All right, so fit and finish. So this is the standard cable. Block myself out there. That comes with the Forte Ears Macbeth. It is an Elitech cable. It is a nice cable. I can do my whole wrap thing. And because it doesn't have the IEMs, it's not going to sit, but boom. It sits nicely. I haven't had any microphonics issue, so it's not a bad cable. But, as we've mentioned before, there is an upgrade cable called the Ambition cable. And I believe they're all sold out now. So they retail for $4,000. On top of the $4,000 for the Macbeth, it sits nicely in my hand. And when we get to the sound part of the review, I'll discuss the differences between the standard cable and the Ambition cable. As far as comfort, have no issues. It's a very comfortable IEM. I would say medium-sized IEM. It's got a nice contour, so it fits very nicely and snug. I love these faceplates. I think they're really awesome, and I think they capture the theme very well. Some people don't like them. That's their problem. So pound for pound, either the standard cable or the ambition cable is very nice, and the IEMs are nice and light and comfortable. All right, so the most important thing, let's talk about sound. I've mentioned before that Ricardo and I had a nice, awesome conversation about his love of classical music and opera. As a classically trained musician who also spent a lot of my uh, younger life inside orchestras and jazz bands, I feel like when you truly love something and you listen to it live and you hear it and you're immersed in it, your brain almost changes in a sense. And same thing with Ricardo. He's seen some of the greatest opera performances. That's his jam. He loves classical. And the number one thing that I hear in this IEM is realism, realism, realism. In a sense, I feel like, and I'm not speaking for him, but I feel like this was created for those times that you can't be in the concert hall. For those times that you just really want to hear your favorite opera, you want to hear your favorite classical music, jazz music in a live venue, and you can't be there, but you want to close your eyes, slap these in, and boom, you're there. And it's an amazing feat. I love a lot of classical music. And I get it because one of my greatest experiences was when I was at Oberlin. Dundanya and the Cleveland Symphony came and played my favorite Brahms Symphony Number 3. And it was in Finney Chapel, which is this huge space, but it's a medium-sized space and it's got great acoustics in it. And just listening to those doom, 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 the cellos, and you just feel it. You're immersed in that sound. All the waves are bouncing on the wall. It was glorious. And I think that the Macbeth does an amazing job capturing the nuances, the technicalities. It's a very revealing IEM. It's got this BA bass, specially made for the Macbeth, that can be explosive when it needs to be, can be subdued when it needs to be. It offers the texture. It almost feels like it offers the movement of a DD when it comes to just the feeling and the essence of it. The mids are glorious, almost traily like the bird, the Orioles traily, like voices, which they would have to be because in opera they're singers. So it's got these amazing voices. Instruments sound real, like it's just realistic, like it's playing in the room with the exact sound that you would expect from this instrument. Like it's just glorious. Soundstage is nice and wide. Not the biggest, it's a little bit intimate, but I like it that way because, again, it feels kind of like you're in your personal concert hall. There's depth there. Depth for me is super important because it's for the placement of all the instruments. Um, there's resolution. Um, Not so much where it's like almost to the fake side, but enough resolution where it's just to the glorious, realistic sound of all the instruments. And there's a new jam that I've been listening to by Alpha Mist, and it has a muted trumpet. So one thing that I love about things like Amber Pearl, Les Jardins, um, what's the other one? Oh, Satin, is that certain instruments are very hard to, I don't know, reproduce, I guess, within an IEM accurately. And muted trumpet is a very particular one. And the ones that I named before are very good at this. Macbeth is excellent at this as well. Like it's just muted trombone. Like you throw any instrumentation at it, cello, viola, violin, bassoon. Like I'm telling you, it's one of those ones that for me, number one is classical and opera. And if you were a lover of that, then this is an extraordinary IEM for that. But you will start going down that rabbit hole with your classical and jazz music. I think it's excellent with jazz too. And I think it does an extremely good job with anything else like the Billie Eilishes. Another really good one that it's excellent at is Dominique Fillon. anything Dominique Fillon, because it's just there's so much separation in her music and depth, and her voice, and then the voices around her sound extraordinary. It's really, really good. Every once in a while, and this is not a knock against the Macbeth, it's a knock against me because we all have different hearing profiles. Our brains hear things differently, but also the structures in our ears. Every once in a while, I get a little bit of a shoutiness between the upper mids and the lower treble. Some instruments stick out a little bit more for me, and that's just me. That's just the ear anatomy. Not everybody's going to have that issue. In fact, most people don't have that issue. My buddy Jonathan has that issue. So I don't know if it's just our name. So if you're named Jonathan, beware. No, I'm just kidding. But the point is that every once in a while I'll hear it peak a little bit because of the extreme W profile of it. But man, pound for pound, this I am working on my list for IEMs, and this is definitely that. Bye, right off into the sunset. This is all you need. It's a great. All-arounder is very hard to define because I think everybody's definition of all-arounder is different. But it's good enough for my taste and what I listen to where it could be a one-and-done IEM. Now, the difference between the Ambition cable and the regular cable, I'm going to go back to my boy Warren, and I believe he said it like this. With the regular cable, it's like being in the studio with the musicians. With the Ambition cable, it's like being in a live performance. So that entails the room, the ambiance, all that stuff, more resolution, and it just opens it up. But if you don't have the Ambition cable, which you probably won't because unless you buy it used, you're not going to find a new one. Is it such a huge factor? No. I would say with the regular cable, Macbeth is between 96 and 98% there. It's the cherry on top, the Ambition cable. It just adds, it enhances it slightly where it just makes everything more resolving. The dynamics stick out more. It's just more clarity. That's it. So I have to say, Ricardo, amazing job, especially from one classical music lover to another classical music lover. And it's just a music lover in period. I like that certain companies, you can tell, are prideful with their products. They make their products because of a passion, their passion and love. But the most important thing is their passion and love for music. And I think with Ricardo and Macbeth, you get his heart in it. And that makes it just an excellent IEM. So, is the Forte Ears Macbeth a buy? If you are a lover of music, classical, jazz, just music period, it is a great musical IEM. So I would say a huge yes. The price is high, but I've seen a few in the used market, which is awesome, at a pretty good price. And you get a great product, including the original cable. If you want a Macbeth cable, you're going to have to search for it, and hopefully one will come up on the used market because they're sold out. But that really doesn't take anything away from the Macbeth. It sounds extraordinary, and it's just one of those ones that just makes music awesome. Especially if you're a musician, you love going to live performances, it's one of the best out there for that. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask, and I will see you in the next video.